How's it going, everybody? My name's Dave Whipple and you're watching Bush Radical. So this is going to be a cabin update. I get people asking me every single day, when are you going to start on the cabin? When are you going to film some more on the cabin? We're really interested to see how the cabin's going. Thank you guys so much for your interest in the log cabin here in Alaska. It's been quite the project, but it's taken a real hard turn. Now what we have here is we went from a situation where we could have our living quarters and our job project two separate things. That's not the case anymore. Due to necessity, due to the disaster of the tent, we are now living in our building project. Kind of sets you back at the pace you can work at, but it also gives you incentive to get stuff done. Let me show you what it looks like in here. So what I did to get this place ready is I installed the wood stove. I put in every window I had available. I put in the door. There's the propane range. There's where the kitchen's ultimately going to go. This is the upstairs floor. I built the upstairs floor out of rough cut 1.25" plank. I had a local sawmill cut all the plank for me. I'd take the 1x12s that are like 20 feet long off the rack of the truck, feed them up through this window, go upstairs, grab the end, pull them up in there. I actually had some OSB across the logs, the upstairs log joists, and I'd work off that until I built half the floor, and then I removed all that, and then I'd work off the floor and just keep building, and that's how we put the floor in. This being green wood, it was all put in with screws, and as soon as I'm confident that all the drying's been done, I'm going to pull the screws, plane all these boards with an electric hand planer, put them back down, and seal them up. As far as the wood stove goes, I've owned this wood stove for 2 years, and I finally had a reason to install it because it was really cold outside and I didn't have a tent anymore. So what I've used here is just a piece of galvanized roof metal for kind of a heat shield. This never gets hot, which is wonderful. This stove is an 8-inch flue stove. It's probably way too big for this cabin, but it drafts fantastic. It's been doing wonderful. Now up here for an installation, this goes up, makes a 90, and then it goes up outside. I got 4 pieces of 2x2 galvanized sheet metal, and then I cut the circle out just using a compass to make a perfect circle and a jigsaw to cut the circle out. There's a 2x6 frame inside this log opening that's all nailed off to the log, and then this metal square inside and out screws off to that 2x6 frame. Here's the range that Brooke bought. She bought this last summer. Fantastic deal. I think she paid $50 for this beauty. Very old, very cool propane stove. I just got the propane the other day. I'm going to hook this stove up probably tonight. So what's the deal with these just big plastic sections? Being that this is a stockade style cabin, you either start in one corner and go all the way around, which I didn't do, or you start at the corners and work your way to the middle of the wall, and then you fill in eventually the last couple logs. And being that I had to get this done so we could live in it, any place that still needed key logs to finish the wall, I just put plastic over it to keep the mosquitoes out. So, I mean, even though it looks pretty cozy, it's still a construction site. Plastic here on this gap where these key logs go. Plastic over this window that doesn't exist yet. Here's a couple logs that are actually going to go into that front wall and finish that front wall. These are both 8 inches. This is a 6-inch. It's going to go into another wall. Daisy thinks we're going to go film. Anytime somebody gets a camera out, she is just all about it. She thinks we're going somewhere. We ain't going nowhere. So here's a shot of one of the walls from the outside. You can see the difference between the logs that were put up this year and the logs that were put up last year. Anytime you deal with a log cabin here in Alaska and you take your time, whether it's all summer or multiple summers, you're just going to deal with mold. You get a couple humid weeks in July, the logs mold up. Logs that have been scrubbed with bleach and water will bleach out just like these guys. I'll actually show you the worst case, and then I'll show you what one looks like that was that bad and what it looks like after bleach. Now this is about as bad as logs get. I mean, the logs look black. These couple that you see here, they're about as bad as you'll ever see it. Now the very first logs I put up on this cabin were these corner posts. I cut these 2 years ago actually, and they sat all winter underneath the tarp. When I took them out in the springtime, they were every bit, possibly more, black from mold as this log is right here. A little bit of bleach and a little bit of scrubbing with a scrub brush. Not much, just a little bit. Let them sit for a few and wipe them down with water and a rag. This is what you get. You're back to a nice, beautiful golden log. All this mold is right on the surface. A little bit of bleach takes all the pigment out of it. This is what the worst looks like. This is what it looks like after you get done bleaching them. I usually generally go like a 50-50 Clorox and water, maybe a little less Clorox. Brooke's probably going to do most of this as I'm wrapping up the log work. She'll clean the logs up and get them stained. So that's pretty much the state of things. Plans change, things change, circumstances change. It's went from a building project that doesn't have a definite time frame it has to be done in, to a situation where you're living inside the building project and you got to get it done to stay sane and to have a life. It's not like you can just walk away from it for a month and go have fun. You know, it's got to get done because it kind of has a direct relationship to your state of mind, how well your summer does. You know, you don't want to come home to sawdust and wood chips every day. So every day a little bit more gets done, most days anyway. And from here, we're gonna go through the process of what it looks like to bleach logs, clean up logs for staining. I've got a couple more windows to put in. I'll probably only film one of those, because if you put in one window, you've put in 1,000 windows. And I'm gonna insulate the upstairs, vapor barrier the upstairs. Also, I'm gonna fill in all these gaps in the wall where the corners have grown, you know, and there's just a couple logs left, a couple key logs that need to be fitted in there, kind of kitty corner pinned with log screws, and then the walls will be complete. Thank you guys for all the interest in this project. I hope the videos that are coming up are going to be interesting to you. And for everybody that has said, what's going on with the log cabin? This video is for you. Thank you guys so much for watching Bush Radical. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the sub button, hit the bell right next to it to get updates when I post videos. My name's Dave Whipple. Be radical, eh? See you soon.